to 3 minutes.
Okay, no problem. This is actually my first time to this campus.
At the end of 2008, when it was a village.
The average age of the Alibaba employees, it's quite low.
Here we want to be a Silicon Valley. We say no, we want to be a Seattle.
Your stock price was up as high as 306 or so in October.
I cannot comment on share price.
On the share price,
So
fair
you
enough.
know that this is very sensitive.
You had an employee that came forward with some allegations that she was sexually harassed.
So we have a lot of new challenges, but I think our culture keep unchanged. We respect people.
About 996 culture.
We never set a 996.
Among global investors, there's been a lot of concern and anxiety expressed about the idea of common prosperity and redistribution of income and what that actually might mean.
We are not living alone, so we have to work with all the stakeholders to create a better life, a better economies. Hi, Clay.
Hey, Daniel.
Nice to meet you.
How are
Welcome
you?
to
It's a
Alibaba.
pleasure. Thank you so much for making time to see us.
It's my pleasure.
It's a pleasure for us.
Peace. So, did you spend some time in the museum?
I did. I got a wonderful full tour there and very informative, very useful.
Yeah, I was told that you like the scroll very much.
It's very clever, really fun. Yeah, it's a very good presentation. This is actually my first time to this campus. I came out in 2007, and we put Jack on the cover as our Asia Businessman of the Year. But I haven't been back to see the.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but since then we changed a lot. Actually, we moved here like in 2013, and now it's our head office. But we try to keep everything like a school campus.
Yeah.
They're very young, very energetic. We just try to give them a very flexible space to try innovation.
Go around this way. Yeah. I see
please.
over here that you're welcoming some of the 5-year.
Yes, maybe this afternoon we will have a 5-year staff ceremony. So we will give each of the staff will be granted a ring, as a Alibaba ring. They can keep in a memory, a sweet moment. For many of them, this is their first job. So they select Alibaba, they stay with us.
That I saw in the museum there was the average age of the Alibaba employees. It's quite low. It's like late 20s, right?
Yes, 29.
29. This is a company now with 150,000 employees. Is that
We have include all consolidated companies. We have 250,000
250,000? Wow.
staff all around the world, and all around the country.
And how many are here in this campus?
About 18,000. We have many offices, campus in Beijing, in Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and in other countries. And we have big team in Singapore, and we have many people in Europe, in US, and so we try to be a real global company.
So, as big as this campus is, it's only a small sliver of the total workforce.
But this is for sure. This is a center of Alibaba. This is our head office.
It's wonderful, and the wetlands and everything around it really adds to the.
Where many years ago, when the local, government, they invite us to be here, and we said, I pay a visit here. At the end of 2008, when it was a village, the village.
Amazing.
Now the western Hangzhou, this is the west part of Hangzhou, the city, so it's become more like a sort of ventures and starting companies, especially tech.
Yes.
So it's a famous tech road here in Hangzhou.
It does have that kind of Silicon Valley feel to it.
Well,
Very
we have
modern.
very famous debate. Maybe many years ago, we said, okay, in here we want to be a Silicon Valley. We said no, we want to be a Seattle.
Right.
We prefer
Yeah.
to be
Great.
to be in Seattle rather
Right.
than Silicon Valley, because we said here we want to help more, startups and help them to grow. But we say we help them to build a company not for sale, it's for growth, to own the company and to create a value for the society, for their customers, rather than it's more like a startups then sell and restart.
Yeah. Yeah, I was noticing this earlier, speaking of Silicon Valley. I know you've celebrated some Silicon Valley and other sort of famous people.
Well, I think,
was cracking up.
yeah,
at this.
actually for this wall, actually this is also a reflection of our thinking process. So when we plan this museum,
Yeah.
so people give me a brief. So I say, but traditionally we will have many introduction via LCDs, LEDs. So I think don't have too many screens. Because we are on internet, we are tech driven, everyone understand. So can we get something new, combining our culture in China and the tech world?
Yeah.
So that's their output.
It's wonderful. It's really clever. That's great.
How long have you been here? So just finished the quarantine.
Just finished a week ago.
A week ago.
Yeah, and of course the event next week.
So I'm on this side.
Daniel Zhang, the CEO of Alibaba Group, we are delighted to be here to chat with you a little bit about your company. And I want to say right off the top, congratulations. Your company started in 1999, very quick for a Fortune 500 joiner. You debuted on our list in 2017 at number 262. And this year, 5 years later, you were 63 is your ranking. So you've jumped 400 places in about 5 years. That is remarkable. I wonder if you could begin by just saying a little bit about, as we emerge from the pandemic, this is a very interesting moment in the global economy and in the Chinese economy, what your priorities are for Alibaba as CEO.
Okay, Clay, thank you for having me today, and also welcome to Alibaba campus. Back to your first question, I think the pandemic changed the whole world and changed the people's lifestyle, changed how people to work, how people even to get education, change all the things. So I think for Alibaba, we also in the pandemic, as a company, we also change our way of operation, as many companies do, right? So you have to remote work, you have to use all the digital tools. Fortunately, we are the provider of these digital tools for some parts. As a business, as a digital ecosystem operator, so you have to leverage this opportunity to serve your customer better and to help them to live with a digital platform, right? Help them to work with a digital platform. So in this regard, I think this also gives us a lot of opportunities.
You were at the Internet conference in Wuhan.
Yes.
The other day. And you made a very sort of passionate pitch for the importance of supporting and helping not just urban consumers and urban businesses, but also rural businesses and especially smaller SMEs. That harks back, of course, to the original mission of Alibaba. But I wonder if you could say a little bit about why that's important to you now and what you're doing to support small and medium enterprises.
Well, as you said, if you look at Alibaba's mission, and day one, when Jack Ma and 18 founders of Alibaba, when they started this company, they said our mission would be make it easy to do business anywhere. So our mission is to help the SMEs, help the consumers, help SMEs to have a better business, do business easier and efficiently, and help people to make a better life. But today, Alibaba is already like 22 years old. We enjoy very rapid growth in the past years. So today, to Alibaba, for sure, we continue to think about how to create a new value of our customers. But we realize that this new value creation is not only for business, but also for the entire society. So as a company, as a platform company, as a responsible company in the market, you have to think more about social impact and about social responsibility. So that's why we said we need to do more.
You recently announced that you're setting aside $15.5 billion towards reducing inequality in the income gap. That's not a small sum. That's 2/3 of your 2020 net income, and the biggest single pledge by a Chinese company in response to this call from the government to narrow the wealth gap. Can you tell us a little bit about how that money is going to be spent and how you'll oversee the disbursement of it?
Well, we have a very big plan in implement our strategy, which is relevant to the common prosperity. And as I said, I think we can do in many areas. And for example, how to help the SMBs and to have a better business, find more opportunities in the overseas market, how to help the low-income areas to grow their business and bring them market opportunities, and how to help people to get enough healthy care via the technology investment. For the big sum investment commitment, first we believe this is a long term, and we are planning very carefully in 10 initiatives. And so that for each of the initiatives we will do to have a good planning. But this is not only for Alibaba alone. We strongly believe that we can partner with a lot of, we can work with many partners, all the stakeholders, to accomplish this.
And are you free to sort of disperse those funds more or less as you see fit, or is this something that you do in very close consultation and collaboration with government officials? How does it work?
Well, first, I think we should have our own plan. In these 10 initiatives in our big plan, and we see part of them, they are relevant to our business. So we have to leverage the power of our business platform to make this happen. And part of this is more like it's on beyond our today's business. Yeah. And this is additional efforts we try to make. For example, in terms of the healthcare, and in terms of how to help people in the village to have have a good treatment, medical treatment. In this part, it's more like a social welfare. So we want to work with the relevant parties to make this happen.
Western companies are by now quite familiar with, you use the acronym ESG, environment, sustainability, and governance. Is this still a relatively new concept for Chinese companies, do you think?
Well, I think the substance are the same. Maybe in China for many years people use the different terms and say the social responsibility. But social responsibility is part of ESG, right? But ESG is more broader. As I said, to being a responsible company, you have to think about environment. You have to think about the social responsibility. You have to think about upgrade your governance model. So for Alibaba, we try to, so that's why in Wuzhen, when I said ESG and the common prosperity are the two main strategies we want to add on top of our existing business strategies, which is consumption, tech, and globalization. Mm-hmm. So we said that on top of that, we want to use, from one angle, we want to use the global world, which is ESG, which can cover many, many things we do. And but on the other side is a national strategy, which is common prosperity, which is maybe the national strategy for the next decade in right. China. So we want to be part of this, make our contribution to this. But we believe that this is also good for us.
We at Fortune have been engaged in this conversation about stakeholder capitalism and the kind of broader responsibilities of companies and CEOs, not just to shareholders, but also to people in their community, their employees. This is a concept that the Business Roundtable in the United States recently endorsed. Mm-hmm. Do you see similarities now in the conversation that's being had in China about common prosperity, or is that a different type of conversation?
I think some are same, but some quite different, because China is such a big country with mm-hmm. a lot of diversities. Yeah. And I always said to my foreign friends, I said, if you spend time in Shanghai, in Beijing, you say, oh, now I'm familiar with China. Yeah. I understand China, but maybe not. That's not true. Right. Yeah. So China, we have a lot of, diversities, and across the regions, across the cities and towns. And we also today have different, people with different, for example, consumption power, have different, income level. So I think as a whole, you still have to. We just remove all the poverty. Counties. But the next step, I fully agree that the country should go further and to make people, even better, people's life even better. So in this regard, I think we should do a lot in the rural areas, in the less developed areas, and for the low income, people.
Mm-hmm. And this is not a completely new direction for Alibaba. 2010, I think it was, you set a target for what percentage of your revenue you would devote to charitable causes. You've had benchmarks for your employees.
At that time, we announced that we distribute 0.3% of our total revenue. Actually, that's not a small number.
Yeah.
And we insist that every year. And we have many programs ongoing and in different areas. And but now, obviously, with the new initiatives, we can definitely do more. In broader, areas.
And this is an idea that, in some ways, goes back to the principles that Jack expressed very early on. Somewhat controversial then as well. That customers first, employees second, and shareholders have to get in the back of that queue.
Well, I think still shareholders will be happy if more customers are happy and more stakeholders are happy, and they are one of the stakeholders. We respect our shareholders, but we think the long-term value creation is our common goal.
Can I put you on the spot just a little bit here? Your stock price was up as high as 306 or so in October, and as I looked, I think yesterday it was trending somewhere around 167, seemed to be recovering a little bit. That's a big shift. What is it in your view? Do you think that's fair value? And if not, what is it that you think that investors, particularly overseas investors, don't understand about Alibaba and its future potential?
Well, I think first of all, I cannot comment on share price.
On the share price,
so
you
know that this is very sensitive, so I cannot comment.
All right.
But second, I think we are a strong believer, as we always said, we don't manage our business by share price, and we focus on long-term value creation, and we focus on the tech, development, and which can, because of the tech innovation, tech development, we can find new opportunities for the value creation. So we combine tech with the real business in many areas. I think today, this is also a good moment for Alibaba if we put it in a longer history. Because since we IPO in 2014, we have a lot of different experience. Yeah. But in this particular time, I think if we are really serious about 102 years commitments, right, then this is a small time. It's a small period for the long history of Alibaba. So we should get adapt to how to live in a good time and how to live in a challenging time to us.
Long-term prosperity, being a good company, that one of the keys is corporate culture. And you've put a big emphasis on how the company's organized and what the values are. But you've had a couple of incidents here just in the last few months. You had an employee that came forward with some allegations that she was sexually harassed at a company-related event. And you came out with a very stern statement criticizing not only that, but also the drinking culture at Alibaba. Are you satisfied with the way that those incidents have been resolved, and what are you doing to kind of confront this problem that you identified in your statement?
We are 22 years old. We are getting older and become from a kid to a young man, right? So we have a lot of new challenges. I think what you said is part of our new challenge we have to face. But I think our culture keep unchanged. We respect people. We want to make our customers happy. We want to make our staff happy. But it's not only about happiness. It's about they can find, when they spend time in this campus, when they celebrate their 5-year anniversary this afternoon, right? So we want to give them, to make them think that this is a valuable time they spend, and they can create, the time is valuable, what they can achieve is also valuable, not only to themselves, but also to many customers, to the society. People can work simply, work happily, and create value, and I think this is what always no change.
One of the flashpoints in that cultural debate has been obviously the discussion about 996 culture, this idea that you, be successful, have got to work from 9 to 9, 6 days a week.
Well, but for this particular point, I always said I even don't know why people tie this 996 with Alibaba, tied to Alibaba. I see some companies, they just say that they remove that, so they remove the weekend work time and no work time in the weekend. But we cannot do that because we never do that. We never set a 996. I mean, so for 22 years, our people, they have quite flexible working time, because for some job, they need to work at night, and they even have to work over the weekend, because that's the peak time for the consumers, like travel business. For some, even in the public holidays, in Spring Festival, for some business, they have to stay at work, like for the grocery business, for the food business. And for some people, they have to work, to work together to create a successful November 11th. So that's so that's a battle, right? So we give people flexible, ways of work, and we focus on results. We focus on quality rather than the length of time people spend.
We have an award that we would like to present you. Okay. I'm delighted and honored on behalf of my colleagues at Fortune to present you with this certificate for your rising place on the Fortune Global 500 ranking.
Thank you.